Okay, let's unpack this one. We're doing a deep dive today into some really interesting source material.
Yeah, it's a review, kind of a play report, too, for a game called Another Crab's Treasure.
Right, and the source really gets into the gameplay, the themes, everything. Our mission, really, is to pull out the key stuff for you, the big takeaways from this, well, surprisingly deep game.
It really is surprising.
Because here's where it gets, really interesting. You look at it, and it looks super cute, adorable even.
Totally. You're playing as this little hermit crab, Krill.
And his shell, like his actual home, gets taken away. So the whole quest is just getting it back. You'd think, okay, cute underwater adventure. Simple.
But that's not what the source says at all. It's very clear this is an action-adventure game, and specifically, they call it a Soulslike.
Which, for anyone who knows that term, immediately signals, high difficulty.
Exactly. Precision, timing, patience. It's demanding.
And the themes, the source points out, much heavier than you'd expect from the art style. Okay, there's the ocean garbage thing, which is kind of obvious.
Right, environmental commentary. But it goes deeper. The review talks about significant societal and ideological commentary baked in.
Like what specifically?
Well, the source points directly to a critique of capitalism and even what it describes as anti-rich sentiment within the game's story.
Wow, okay. So using this underwater setting for more than just pollution themes.
Yeah. According to the review, it's exploring social structures, inequality. Pretty heavy stuff for a crab game.
So gameplay-wise, you fight with a fork.
You do, which is, pretty charming. But the core defense, the really key part, is finding different shells. They act as your shield, basically.
And they have unique abilities, too, like magic, sort of.
Kind of, yeah, shell-specific powers. But back to that Souls-like label, the difficulty is real. The source says it ramps up, especially early.
It gets easier later, though.
A bit more manageable, as you level up. But what's really interesting, and the source highlights this, is that the game actually includes assist options. Accessibility setting.
In a Souls-like, that feels different.
It really does. It potentially opens up a tough genre to players who might just be drawn in by the cute look,
Yeah, that makes sense. The source also mentioned something about combat focus, like guarding versus dodging.
Right. The reviewer felt guarding using that shell was often more important than dodging. Especially early when you don't have much health, that shell defense is vital.
Okay. Any skills locked early on?
Yeah, some felt that way, like a finisher move needs skill points you don't have at the start rather than being a default move.
Gotcha. So what did the source really like? What got praised?
Pacing was a big one. Seemed well balanced. The mix of combat, exploring, story beats, it hit a good rhythm, apparently.
Kept things fresh.
Yeah, especially mid-game. The source liked how new mechanics or level gimmicks were introduced just when things might have started feeling a bit samey.
And the boss fights. Soulslikes live and die by their bosses.
Big thumbs up there, according to the review. Varied, tense fights, but the patterns felt learnable. You get that feeling of, okay, next time I've got this.
That's the good stuff. Less frustrating that way.
Exactly. And getting back into the fight after dying was apparently quite smooth, which helps a lot.
Nice. Anything else stand out positively?
The actual underwater world got praise for variety, but the reviewer's absolute highlight was the ending.
Oh, how so?
They found it uniquely impactful. The source notes that lots of stories might criticize capitalism, but this game's ending apparently showed the protagonist's fate after rejecting the system and the wider implications. It went deeper than expected.
Interesting. But it wasn't all perfect, right? What were the main drawbacks mentioned?
The start felt slow, a bit boring even was the impression, mainly because your options are so limited at first, just basic attack and block.
Okay, takes a while to get going. Any technical stuff?
Yeah, the reviewer hit some technical issues, freezing, stuttering on their platform in certain areas, which is, pretty bad for a game needing precise inputs.
Definitely frustrating. Anything else?
Story structure felt a bit drawn out in parts, even with the strong ending. And maybe some side character development felt a bit rushed or underdeveloped. Minor localization errors, too, but nothing game-breaking.
Okay, so summing this all up, what's the big picture from this source?
Basically, Another Crab's Treasure is way more complex than it looks. It's hiding a tough, demanding, Souls-like game inside that cute shell.
And it uses that simple premise. Crab needs his home back to deliver some pretty sharp social commentary.
Yeah, it really forces you to grapple not just with hard fights, but with big ideas about society, inequality, maybe even defying the status quo, all through this, quirky underwater lens.
The Source definitely saw it as a high-quality game overall, though.
For sure. And they stress that while the difficulty is a key feature, having those assist options is really notable. It widens the net, potentially.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. How does using this kind of lighthearted, almost deceptively cute visual style change how we receive these heavy, critical themes?
Right. Does it make the message easier to swallow, more accessible? Or is there maybe a disconnect? Does the cuteness undermine the seriousness?
Something to definitely chew on next time you find something surprisingly deep hiding in a very friendly-looking package.